Welcome to the Quantum Mama podcast, where frequency meets faith, science meets spirit, and motherhood becomes a portal to divine expansion. Hosted by Katelyn Simmons, a Jesus-loving, frequency-healing, free birth mama on a mission to help you heal your body, align your energy, and unlock true abundance, inside and out. Each week, she dives into holistic health, nervous system wisdom, quantum biology, faith-filled manifestation, and frequency-based living, all through the lens of motherhood, entrepreneurship, authenticity, and walking boldly in your God-given purpose. Because you weren't made to just survive. You were made to thrive, vibrantly, authentically, wildly, and in total alignment. Let's recalibrate. Let's expand. Let's do life the Quantum Mama way.
Hey friends, welcome to our next episode of the Quantum Mama podcast. Today we are going to be diving into controversial topics about sunlight, one of my favorite things on the planet. I love the sun. I always have loved the sun. It is just, it's just incredible. The sunshine on your skin. If you don't think that's the best feeling in the world, you are missing out. Sunlight was given to us by our Creator, I believe. But I want to start out by saying none of this is medical advice. I am not making any claims. Use caution, use common sense, listen to the entirety of this episode, and then do your own research before you just take what I'm saying as truth. I really believe that each person needs to do what's best for them. There are precautions you need to take when getting sunlight to make sure you're not hurting your skin, damaging your skin in an aging way. But the things I'm going to challenge today are some of the things that we have been ingrained as truth, something along the lines of the big C word. And I'm not actually going to say the word because I don't want to get flagged and I don't want to get anything taken down on these platforms. But let me just tell you, everything you've been taught is false. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. We are going to dive into seed oils. We are going to dive into nutrient deficiencies. We are going to dive into sunscreen. We're going to dive into the many spectrums of light. And we're going to challenge what we were taught as truth. And I don't have notes for this episode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of my highlight bubbles on Instagram to kind of keep me in line so that I don't go off on too many tangents, but I just want to speak to you from my heart because of how much I love the sun, how much I've seen it change my life, and let you have some knowledge, some info, so you can start diving in yourself. Okay, so when I first started this quantum health journey, the first things that I really started incorporating were emotion code and AO scan, which we've talked about. Learning about the subconscious mind, seeing our body as energy and frequency. That led me to finding the Quantum Biology Collective, which opened this whole new door where I jumped in for a certification. I joined the program. I was in one of the first cohorts of this certification in this program. And quantum biology is this new, but it's really ancient. It's a new way of looking at how quantum mechanics, quantum physics are affecting our biology. So light, frequency, energy, how is that impacting our biology? It's really fascinating. It's really cool, and I can't wait to dive in more with you. Long story short is all of this quantum stuff funneled into me learning about this, and I'm looking at a slide from my highlight bubble from June 2022. I didn't realize how little I was getting sunlight and grounding living in an apartment. I would go out for a few minutes in the mornings, but my neighbor smoked cigarettes. It wasn't the greatest environment. And so I was not getting enough sunlight. I had my virtual practice 2022, but I still wasn't getting a whole lot of sunlight. I wasn't prioritizing it. So stuff shifted. We moved out of that toxic apartment that was moldy, crazy neighbor, literally a crazy neighbor. She would pound on my door and sit outside on the steps. It was really weird. And we got into an environment where I was able to start prioritizing the things I was learning about quantum biology, and I saw another level shift. So when we are thinking of the body as 99.99999% energy, we also need to start looking at our entire environment as energy. Look around me right now. I am in a room full of toxic lighting. I have a ring light that is artificial lighting. I have some artificial lighting candles back here. I've got a lamp back here. This is not an ideal setup. I actually should be wearing my blue light blockers right now. I just haven't figured out how to wear them with my headset in a comfortable way without squashing my head. But I incorporate all the things that I am going to be talking to you about today into my life. And so I feel like I'm okay. Like I feel like I'm doing enough to offset the small amount of time I spend in here behind a screen. And I'm going to explain that in more depth with you, because the last thing I want you to do is feel overwhelmed by this information and feel like you have to be 100% perfect and change every aspect of your life to be circadian safe or quantum safe, like we're going to be talking about. But I want you to be aware. Awareness and information can help us make good decisions in the future, and the small tweaks and the decisions we can make in our lifestyle are what's going to be setting us up for long-term success. So when we think about being a being of light, we are made of light, we are made of energy, we are made of frequency. We are created in just such an incredible way. So was our universe. So we have sunlight, we have frequencies surrounding us, and we have frequencies from the earth. We have good frequencies that God gave us. And if you can picture your body as a battery, so imagine you've got your little picture of your body right here. You are a battery. You plug in and you get charged up when you have sun coming down from the top and you have your feet plugged in barefoot on the earth. This is why grounding is so popular. This is why the grounding movie, the earthing movie by Clint Ober is out there, why it's so popular, why people talk about it, why grounding sheets are a big thing, why PEMF is a big thing. Our bodies were designed to be in sync with the earth. When rubber-soled shoes came into the picture and separated us from the earth, a huge increase in diseases and problems started happening even more. So imagine you are a battery. You have to get charged up with the sun and the earth. Look at the average person's lifestyle. Not going barefoot, always wearing rubber-soled shoes, being scared to get in nature, not touching trees, not going on hikes, not going out into real nature, not getting sunshine, afraid of the sun, behind windows, behind closed doors, in the car, in artificial everything, not getting the sun, going into a building with fluorescent overhead lighting or LEDs or whatever. Okay, so over the last however many years, we have drifted farther and farther away from the way we were designed to be. People are not questioning this enough. We're starting to see it now. We're starting to see people questioning this and changing their life with quantum biology. Dr. Jack Kruse has made this very popular. He talks about this a lot. And now the Quantum Biology Collective is certifying practitioners to help them learn this to teach their patients and their clients. But it's still a very niche topic. So let's keep going. You are made to be in nature, in the sun. Now, life is the opposite of that. So skincare has increased by 2,000% 2,000% since 1950, despite sun exposure decreasing. How can we still blame the sun? There are no studies done with just sunlight. The studies done are with artificial light. Artificial light. I'll let you look into that yourself. But with this huge increase of skin cases, I've been talking about this since 2022. 3 years I have been talking about this. And that's why I feel like this is one of the most important topics for me to have here at this beginning portion of the podcast, is because if you can change your mindset around how your body is made, you are 99.9999% energy. If you can start to use specific things to help your emotional state, your frequency, your energy, and then come in and just support your body in the way that it was designed, stuff can shift dramatically. So, did you know that we've been lied to about UV light? UV light comes from the sun. We know that we have a lower amount of UV in the early morning, mid-morning, the afternoon, certain times of the year, like in the summer. In certain parts of the world, we have a very high, strong UVB. That's when you can make vitamin D. That's when you get a tan. And then we have the gentler UV light in the afternoon and the evening. My question is, why would God give us the sun if he didn't have a strategic purpose? Okay, so we live in a fallen world. Yes. Too much sun, do I think that can be bad? Yes. But I really want you to question this. Why has skin cancer increased by 2,000% since 1950? Keep that in your head, please. So, this is a quote, and I want to look at where this quote is from before I say it. So I want to give credit where credit is due. I believe this is from the book. I don't have the quote. I don't have it here, so I'm actually not going to read it exactly, but there is no evidence that reduction in the ozone layer as observed by the poles has caused any increase in the melanoma incidence. I think this is from the book Healing with Sunlight by Andreas Moritz, maybe? That sounds familiar. Hold on a second. I don't know where my book is. I think that's where this quote is from. UV radiation has dropped an average of 0.7% per year over the period from 1974 to 1985 and continues to do so. So the amount of radiation we're getting is dropping, but the skin is elevating. Weird coincidence. If you look at the data and you look at the research, the sun-associated problems are increasing dramatically, but the level of sun exposure is decreasing continuously. And these are old stats, and now we're in 2025. So that's a little concerning. If someone can tell me why we keep blaming the sun just from that stat, I would like to know. I would like to understand. Where is the logic in that? Now, I'm not saying that our skin is not susceptible to sun damage, but I want us to use some critical thinking on what is causing us to get problems. So if there is a problem from the sun, there has to be something from 1950s on that is changing the way our skin is reacting. Why are things happening in the skin with UV exposure? Okay, with UV exposure, what's changed? Let's start listing them off. Skin damage occurs from overexposure. We know this. You don't want to get sunburned. When we look at people in ancient times, they had head coverings, they wore clothing, they utilized shade. It was common sense. You don't want to get a sunburn. You can really hurt yourself. You don't want to purposefully or incidentally get a sunburn. That is damage. Yes, our skin is very important. Why is it then? Most people know this. So what do they use? They use sunscreen. Okay, here's one of the things I want to share with you. We talk so much about sunscreen. Dermatologists and estheticians are pushing sunscreen like no other. And content like mine gets so much hate when I say not to wear it. This is what happens when you wear sunscreen and you get sun exposure. DNA damage. Man, okay, that's a tough one. So what happens when you try to block the UV with a barrier on your skin, especially the chemical-filled ones, the average sunscreens, you are making yourself susceptible to DNA damage. That, of course, in my opinion, would lead to some skin problems, if you know what I'm saying. The other thing that sunscreen does is it suppresses your body's ability to listen to when you've had enough sun. Okay? So imagine the average person. Maybe you live in a state where you have winter, real winter. I don't live in a state that has real winter right now. I live in Southern California. But let's say you're closed up in the winter months and you haven't been getting outside very much. Then all of a sudden, you decide to go on a trip to Hawaii, California. You binge the sun. You've been missing the sun, so you get outside. That right there, you're going to be trying to get more sun than you have been used to, or your body is even aware of that can happen. And what we call that is a circadian mismatch. When you jump from one side of the world to the other, get a ton of sun, you're wearing sunscreen so that you can tolerate more sun. Maybe you get a huge sunburn. That is going to be a miscommunication between your brain and your skin, and all your receptors. That is going to be a big stress to your skin. And you're always also going to be getting a very big overexposure that your body wasn't ready for by using sunscreen. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this? I am not saying to discontinue your use of sunscreen. You obviously don't want to get a big sunburn. I am saying let's start to shift the way we look at sunscreen and the way we look at the sun. Okay? So I like to correlate sunscreen to a painkiller or a Band-Aid. So if you keep taking a painkiller and going out and hitting yourself on the knee over and over with a hammer, but you keep taking painkillers so you don't feel it, what's going to happen if you keep doing that? If you keep putting a Band-Aid over something just to forget about it, it's going to build up. Okay? Just something to think about. Now, the other thing, so this is a multifaceted thing. I don't believe we can tie the rise of skin problems related to the sun to just any one thing. I think that since the 1950s, probably even a little before that, that we have been perpetually being just bombarded with more and more crap over time. And so we kind of want to look at each of these things. So first of all, we have sunscreen. Sunscreen is filled with so many chemicals. Things are starting to get better where people in, Hawaii, coral reefs, they're saying you can only wear a mineral-based sunscreen. You can't bring the chemicals because they're killing the coral reefs. If that doesn't say something to you, I don't know. Like, if the coral reef is getting affected, why do you think your body isn't getting affected? Okay, so we have that overexposure of chemicals, not just from sunscreens, but from topicals that we're putting on our skin, like skincare, makeup, soaps, the chlorine coming through your shower if you don't have a shower filter. You are having chemicals on your skin constantly, and you have for probably your whole life, unless you grew up in like the craziest crunchy home that somehow helped you avoid all of that. Even now, just going outside, the air that we are in just outside is full of chemicals. So chemical overload, a lot of things tied to carcinogenic things. We have the sunscreen, the chemical toxin side of it, okay? Now this one has been really crazy if you start looking online and you see there's a big soy company paying influencers to talk about how seed oils are so good for you. Okay, let's dive into seed oils. What are seed oils? PUFAs, P-U-F-A, PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Not all of them are bad for you. When I say seed oils, when I talk about PUFAs, I'm talking about canola oil, soybean oil, vegetable oil, all these little sunflower oils, the oils that are highly processed that are actually really just supposed to be engine lubricant. They're trash runoff being masked and marketed as oils that we can use in cooking. And so people fry their turkey in a big bucket of peanut oil at Thanksgiving. You go to McDonald's, everything's fried in bad foods. Now we see with the Maha movement that people are wanting to, cook with different oils. Restaurants are flirting with the fact that they might use tallow. Who knows what's really happening? The fact is we are so exposed to these not normal, like experimental oils that cause free radical damage, and they build up in your tissues. So we have this overabundance of seed oils, overabundance of toxins slathered on your skin, and then toxins slathered on your skin that when they interact with the sun are causing DNA damage. This is already a nice, big, chemical, messy soup. See what I'm saying? There's toxins sprayed on our food, mixed in the food. Our food is grown in toxins. They're spraying, glyphosate all over everything. I don't even know if there are like farms that really can truly protect the soil from what they're doing because it's such a big thing. And we don't know, how many other ways it's getting into everything. I am not saying this to make a bunch of doom and gloom and make you feel sad and scared. That is the opposite. This episode, I want you to feel empowered. I want you to leave with things. I want you to have takeaways of things that you can do to change your life, to safely use the sun, to safely use nature to help bring your body back to balance. But I have to start out with this. I have to start out with these things to show you that there are other things to keep in mind when it comes to all the propaganda talking about that the sun is bad, okay? Pharmaceuticals are given out like candy. They're in the tap water. We are taught to be scared of nature. I just saw someone post about how in Nova Scotia, they're saying you're not allowed to go in the forest. EMFs are at an all-time high. EMFs are very connected to cellular dehydration. They are connected to cellular problems, free radical damage. And so what we're going to see here as we continue to talk about this is that sunlight is good, but you need negative ions. You need a balance to neutralize so you're not having an overabundance of free radical damage, which is going to cause the skin problems, okay? But we've already looked at this foundation that we have all been born into. There's nothing we can really do about it other than start to make lifestyle changes, which is why this podcast, there's other podcasts, why so many people are so passionate about sharing about toxins and things that we can do to change our lifestyle. We are being exposed to a lot. So we're right now, we just talked about the physical side of it with chemicals. We've got toxic sunscreens, toxic things put on our skin, bathing in toxins, filled with toxins, and our skin is our biggest organ. It's going to act like a filter. Okay. Then we brought in how we have the EMFs that are at an all-time high, non-native EMFs. That means anything that is not already put here on the earth by God. So we have Wi-Fi, we have radio waves, we have microwaves, we have all of these things like Bluetooth, headset wires, dirty electricity that is impacting our physiology. It's impacting our biology. It dehydrates the cells. We are made of water. We need to be hydrated. They are causing chaotic dysresonance within the cells and within the quantum communications of our bodies, which leads to free radical damage. So if you can think of, when I'm talking about free radicals, I'm talking about the opposite of antioxidants. So think about how people tell you, you got to eat blueberries, you got to eat broccoli, you got to eat these like antioxidant rich foods. True, they're good. That's great. You would have to eat a lot of those blueberries, a lot of those things to get the amount of negative ions that you actually need to combat what we are exposed to. So that's why these biohacks that I talk about, like grounding, like pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, like terahertz, like all these things, red light therapy, using the sunlight strategically. That is why I talk about all these things, because we have to have we have to create a new solid foundation. We basically have to trade out the old that we were born into of all of this toxic soup that's stealing antioxidants from us. It's stealing life from us. That's the charge in our battery. We need electrons. So antioxidants, electrons, negative ions, that's what we need. That's good. Okay? All of the stuff I'm explaining is the opposite of that. Harmful radiation that creates rogue cells. Okay, think I made that clear. We actually are born with a natural sunscreen. Did you know that? We are born with melanin. Wow, what a concept. Some of us have more melanin. Some of us have less melanin. We can get our body to produce more melanin as more sunscreen with our exposure in the sun and building our solar callus. So whether you are the lightest of the lightest with the lightest eyes and red hair, blonde hair, whatever, the lightest side of the Fitzpatrick skin chart, or the darkest, you can use the sun for health. My baby has never been sunburned. She's in the sun a ton. And it is because of the things I'm about to talk about. So we just have to kind of go through a bunch of the different things to kind of help you piece this all together. It's kind of like a big puzzle. So much so that I made an entire course on sunlight, which I'm revamping currently. I'm putting it together with my mitochondria course, and I'm going to turn it into like a package of just kind of everything. But I made a whole course on this because it's so incredibly important. This is important for your hormones. This is like the main thing everyone should be doing at the start of their hormone balancing journey. At the start, all this frequency stuff that we're talking about. This is the root cause stuff. This is the real root cause stuff when you look at light and energy and sound and frequency. So we're born with natural melanin, but when we're using suppression remedies, we're not exposed to the sun, and then we do overexposure, that's a really big confusion to the body. The body doesn't know how to handle that. Like we see with the world changing, man wants to come in with these fixes and technology and new things that really just kind of separate us from how we were created. And we keep getting farther and farther away from it. So we're really just simplifying things when we do this stuff, and we're coming back to the way God created us. Okay, this has got to be from the book, Healing with Sunlight. Highly recommend that read. The fact is that those who reside at high altitudes or near the equator where UV radiation is the most concentrated are virtually free of all Cs and not just skin Cs. Why would that be? If you reside at a high altitude where the UV radiation is the most concentrated across the board, why would that be better for someone? I need to throw this in here. If you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, sunlight's great for me. I need to go lay in the sun right now. I'm going to go sunbathe and just sit out there for 3 hours and blah, 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 blah. No, keep listening. Please listen to the entirety of this first. There are still more things we have to keep in mind. You got to work on the chemical side, the chemical exposure side. You've got to start eliminating PUFAs, the seed oils out of your life. You have to take into consideration the EMFs, okay? So that's why all the time I'm talking about EMF harmonization, EMF remediation, why I'm talking about natural options. Like when I showed the other day, I was talking about a chlorine neutralizer to spray on yourself before you go in the chlorine pool, because chlorine is really hard on the body. I also talked about how you can use, a tallow-based non-nano zinc sunscreen. if you haven't built your solar callus, you're going to be out for a long time, that's an option. You can use that. I'm not saying to totally ditch sunscreen. I'm not saying to not listen to your body. I am trying to lay the groundwork so you can see how multifaceted this is and how many things you need to do. So keep listening because there are more things you need to know. When you have an acidic body, okay, we're diving into a whole nother thing now. When you have over-acidity in your body, that makes you vulnerable to UV radiation as well. What makes you acidic? If you're eating fast food, seed oils, if you're eating garbage, if you're eating processed foods, that is going to push your body more towards the acidic side. When we think of electrons, we need more electrons. That's going to make us more alkaline. Okay? I'm not talking about putting baking soda in your water. I don't recommend that. I'm not talking about buying alkaline water from Costco. I'm talking about changing your food to whole foods, getting more electrons in your body. We're going to talk about ways to do that. You can also drink water like Kangen water that is made alkaline because of naturally occurring minerals. So fixing the mineral intake in your body is going to be a big one, like taking fulvic acids, trace minerals, magnesium. You want to have minerals in your body. And looking at really your lifestyle. What is making you so acidic? Are you taking a lot of toxic medications? Are you popping Advils all the time? Are you going through the drive-thru at McDonald's more than you go through? I mean, you shouldn't really do that at all. Are you drinking soda? Are you drinking regular old Diet Cokes and sodas? That is so acidic. That's like battery acid. All these different things that can cause your body to go into over-acidity, that's sickness. That is what makes us stink. That is bad breath. That is the opposite of a healthy little baby. When a healthy little baby comes into the world, they're perfect, fresh, little perfect breath that you just want to stick your nose in their mouth and smell. That is alkaline. See where I'm getting with this? You're going to be more vulnerable to UV radiation if you're dehydrated, toxic, acidic, which most of the population is. So most of the population is going to have issues with their skin because they're so mismatched. Everything is just opposite of how we were designed. So this is why lifestyle changes are so important, why take little pieces from this podcast, take little things and implement them. You don't have to go gung-ho and do everything. You'll overwhelm yourself. You'll burn yourself out. But taking what I'm sharing with you in small chunks and making these little lifestyle changes, you will start to see results. You will start to see changes because over time, and you'll start to crave to change other things. Sometimes it's really hard at first to make a change. Like, okay, I'm not going to go through the drive-thrus anymore and I'm not going to drink soda. Okay, you might not feel a difference in the first couple days. You might actually feel crummy. You might have really strong cravings. You might be like, oh my gosh, I'm having withdrawals. I need my Diet Coke. But as you make the lifestyle change and you continue to stick with it, you'll start to see you crave better foods. You'll start craving, fresh, good vegetables. You'll start craving water. You'll want to drink fresh fruit juice. You'll want to have grass-fed and finished meat. Like your taste will change. And then you'll start being like, oh, what else can I do? And it'll start to just change into a lifestyle shift. So have that mindset as you're listening to this. Like, I'm not asking you to do all of this at once. I'm asking you to find ways that you can start making a small lifestyle shift and stick with it long term. And I really hate when I see these reels. People are like, they make a list of all the things that influencers tell you to do, and it's so overwhelming and it's so hard to do. And they're trying to be relatable and go viral when they share these things. That's not the point. The point isn't to give yourself a schedule where I have to go on my PEMF mat for an hour every day, and I have to get up at 5 to do a cold plunge, and then I have to drink a gallon of water, and then I have no time for anything else. No. The point is you can trade the things you're already doing for a better option, one at a time, and set up the remaining years of your life to be better. That's the goal. The goal is to have a better quality of life and not need emergency situations and to have a really crummy ending of life, or to get out of the situation you're in currently. Okay, so When we're talking about seed oils, let's go back to that. What are options of things you can shift out? So this is a really easy one. If you still have vegetable oil or canola oil in your cupboard, throw them in the trash. Don't use them up, throw them away. That's poison. Those are poisons. They're going to sit in your fat cells. They're going to attribute to things like cellulite and gunk and clogged arteries. It's the opposite of what we were taught. Start using grass-fed butter, high-quality olive oil, tallow, or even lard. I'm not kidding. Look into this stuff. Shift out the fats you are using. Shift out the fats you are eating. When you eat good quality animal-based fats or olive oil, you will actually help clear out those nasty things out of your arteries and out of your system. Okay, another way to detox from PUFAs and seed oils that have built up in your body over the years is to take a high-quality vitamin E supplement. That will help you. It takes a while to, I don't think any of us have, I'm sure some people, it's got to take a long time to detox out all these seed oils because they are snuck in everything. I mean, you can't even buy a bag of raisins without sunflower oil being on them. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. I think I found raisins with coconut oil once. I haven't found them since. I love raisins. It's so random. I love raisins. They all have sunflower oil on them or canola oil. It's like, what? Why does a perfect little dehydrated grape need oil? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So I do recommend trying it if you talk to your practitioner, talk to your doctor, whatever you feel comfortable with. Talk to someone that you trust if you're not sure if vitamin E is right for you. But consider taking vitamin E. Just consider it. It will help you detox out these PUFAs. And I would say go slow with it. See how you feel. If you're someone who grew up on fast food, grew up eating out at restaurants, you get fries at In-N-Out all the time, whatever. This can make you feel really tired. It can make you feel detoxy at first because you've been storing that stuff and it's been affecting you. Okay, so you're going to see a shift with that. That is a way to combat the seed oils. It's not all doom and gloom. It's all not, I'm providing you with action steps you can take. Okay, so there's number one. Shift out what's in your cupboard. Just stop buying stuff. Read labels. Like, it's not that hard to read labels when you go to the store, and you'll start to see how many seed oils you're eating. Restaurants don't want to tell you that that's what they're cooking with, but they are. Unless a restaurant says otherwise, unless a restaurant says we don't use seed oils, like my favorite restaurant is Good On Ya in Encinitas. I love it. Their little menu says we don't cook with seed oils. They have tallow fries. Like, if I'm craving fries, I want to go to Good On Ya. They've got great burgers too. That is number one. Lessen your load. Read labels. Buy a safe oil like olive oil, coconut oil, butter, tallow instead. And then consider adding vitamin E into your life. Now, the next thing we want to do, let's talk about the chemical overload. We want to switch out our sunscreen. There are so many people out there talking about their healthy sunscreens. Look it up yourself. I suggest getting a tallow-based, if your skin can handle it. I think some acne-prone people might have a tough time putting tallow on their face. I like the one from Gubba Homestead. I think her brand is called Arvati or Arvoti. You could look her up on Instagram, Gubba Homestead. I think that's her Instagram. Her tallow-based sunblock is great. That's a great option. But there are others out there. There's lots of small business tallow brands out there making great options. So switch out your sunscreen. And instead of going to the sunscreen first, utilize shade, hats, clothes, and not overexposing yourself. Like, you don't need to be out in the middle of the day in the sun baking all day long. That's not how we were designed. That's not intuitive at all. People who had to work, and still, people who work out in the sun in the middle of the day wear hats and clothing. It's not intuitive to sit out there and bake yourself to a crisp. It is intuitive to get regular, unfiltered sunlight. It is not normal to spend all day inside behind closed doors, not even getting fresh air, and then going straight outside and baking yourself. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? It's just something has disconnected in our minds. We're so disconnected from how nature is, how God created nature. Nature needs to be respected. You wouldn't just go out on a little dinghy boat into the middle of the ocean in the middle of a storm when there's a tsunami warning, would you? That's respecting nature. The waves could crush you. Probably not going to go stand outside in a lightning storm being the tallest thing, right? Like, we respect nature, and we have to respect the sun as well. And we have to use common sense and knowledge. And we have just been so inundated with dumb knowledge that just lies and propaganda. We don't even question it. Okay, wear hats instead of sunglasses. Let's talk about sunglasses really quick. Actually, before we talk about sunglasses, let's talk about fluorescent lighting. Being under fluorescent lighting doubles the risk of melanoma. Doubles. Oh man, fluorescent lighting. Fluorescent lighting should be banned. Fluorescent lighting should not be allowed in homes. It should not be allowed in workplaces. It should not be allowed in grocery stores. I've gotten a little more lax on it now. When I first learned all of this, I was so strict. Like, I would wear a scarf around my thyroid to protect my thyroid. If I went in a grocery store, I always had a hat. Always wore my blue light blockers. I've gotten less strict as time has gone on because it's just a lifestyle now where as I get into this, you'll hear what I do. But if you're really chronically ill, you do have to take a lot of this seriously. You do have to do what I did. You have to start out really, really strict and protect yourself from these harmful lightings. Fluorescent lighting is no joke. And so here's the other crazy fact with fluorescent lighting. People who have tanned skin from the sun are more protected from fluorescent lighting than people without tanned skin. So if you're pale, not getting in the sun, if you're like translucent over here, and then you go in this fluorescent lighting, you are asking for problems. So we really have to take this stuff seriously. And I mentioned the sunscreen. I have not used sunscreen now, except for when I go, I haven't actually been able to swim in the ocean like I used to, where me and my friend would just go out in the ocean, we'd just float, we'd practice surfing, we'd like boogie board, we'd swim and float, and just like it was awesome. That's when I would use some sunscreen on my face, maybe my shoulders, or I'd wear like a rash guard so I wasn't getting just beat down and having the glaring ocean water. That's when I would wear a little sunscreen. If I know I'm going to be out and it's harsh conditions and I'm going to be out longer than I can really pay attention to how I'm feeling and my instincts, I would wear sunscreen. Haven't worn it though in a long time. If I'm going to wear it, I do something like the tallow zinc stuff. Let's talk about why do we crave to get in the sun? Why do we crave to get in nature? Why do we feel better after we go camping? Why do we feel better after a day out on the water? Why do we crave the beach? Why does everyone want to live by the beach? Everyone wants to go on vacation by the beach. If the sun is so bad and it's killing us, which we kind of already debunked, we already figured that out in this episode, why do we feel so good? Why would we feel so incredible after being by the ocean? Why do I want to go to the ocean any chance I get? Why does my baby ask to go to the ocean every day? Pool, ocean, beach, pool. Like, she is begging to go to the pool, to the park, to the ocean, to the beach. Why is it? Why do we crave the sun? Okay, electrons. Remember how we talked about free radicals versus electrons? We charge our battery. We charge up our battery with electrons. When we get the sun, we get the ocean, we get the nature, the grass, all of it. Full spectrum light. UV, infrared, energy, circadian signaling, healing frequencies, negative ions. What I want to just mention here is When we think about, let's break it down with the light spectrum. What is full spectrum light? Full spectrum light means it has every color of the rainbow in it. It looks white, it looks bright, looks like sunlight, but it has the full rainbow. And those spectrums, the different levels of lighting and colors, change throughout the day. So when the sun rises, it's at a very specific amount, full spectrum. And then as the sun gets higher and higher and higher throughout the day, high noon, the light is changing. We have free red light therapy in the morning at sunrise and mid-morning, and then down at sunset. We have so much free red light therapy in these 2 times of day, sunrise and sunset. So much red light. We're not seeing red coming off of the sun, but it's there. Then it changes. And so what happens when the sun is going through its stages every single day of our life, as the seasons change, as the sun gets, moves and the day goes on, the seasons change, time of the year, all these different things, it is a different light code frequency. Every hour of the day it's changing. So when you wake up at sunrise, and if your naked eyes see the sky, doesn't even have to be the sun itself, the sky, you get those light codes right in through your eye, through your suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it talks to your brain and it says, hey, it's time to wake up. And it starts triggering a hormone production. So you start having cortisol release. You start having these hormones release to wake you up in the morning. And then your body is set to go, and it's got this beautiful blueprint of what's supposed to happen. Then you get out in the mid-morning. You go outside, you get your eyes, you look at the sky, you experience the light, it hits your skin, and it's telling your brain and your receptors and through your SCN in your eyes and the melanopsin receptors in your skin, it's telling your body, hey, we're going to have more sun exposure later in the afternoon, so get ready, get prepared. The more sun exposure you have in the mid-morning, sunrise, mid-morning, that spectrum, it is telling your body, let's get prepared. Let's precondition ourselves. Let's make some sunscreen. We are going to have sun exposure this afternoon. Okay, what happens when you get up? The first thing you look at is your cell phone. Don't mind the tape on here. I need to super glue my little sticker on. My baby took it off and I can't get it to stay on. It's my Aries Tech EMF remediation sticker. I have for some reason I have electrical tape taping it on. It was the only thing I could find. Okay. What happens when you look at your phone first thing in the morning? Circadian mismatch. You're telling your brain, it's the middle of the afternoon. It's bright out. It's time to, and it tells your brain what's not actually happening outside. So imagine that for a minute. Cortisol, stress. You need adrenaline and energy to get through the day. It's the middle of the day. But actually, you just woke up. So you don't really need all of that hormone production that you would have in the middle of the day. We're supposed to have ebbs and flows. It's like a beautiful little, not a roller coaster, but kind of flows. Just have a flow of hormones. We're not supposed to just get a huge dump of cortisol and adrenaline in the morning. But most of us are getting that if we look at our phone, turn on the overhead lights, and start doing our day right early in the morning. That is called a circadian mismatch. That is quantum biology. We were made to get up with the sun, do our work during the day, and go to bed when the sun goes down. At night, we were made to have moonlight, firelight. Okay? We were not designed to have fake sunlight in our homes before the sun comes up, during the day, all this stuff. When we talk about a full spectrum light from the sun, it's very important. And they're currently trying to create these light bulbs that are full spectrum. They're still not replicating the sun. No one will ever be able to replicate God's creation in that way. But they're better than things like fluorescent lighting or LEDs. So when you have a fluorescent light or you have an LED, or like I have LEDs pointing at my face right now, the screen on my iPad or computer, that is so high, such a high Kelvin. It's so concentrated. This is what we call blue light. So when people are talking about blue light blockers, which we're going to talk about, blue light blockers and protecting yourself from artificial light, it's because the light that is artificially made, put in these bulbs, in our screens, is primarily blue light and some green light, and it's not full spectrum. And so that is not how God intended us to receive light into our cells and our melanopsin receptors. And so that is why I believe another reason why we are seeing so many problems with the skin and it's getting blamed on UV. It's so frustrating. Okay, did that make sense? I hope that made sense. Basically, it's kind of like correlating it to how we're made to have energy from the earth, right? We're supposed to ground our feet, instant electron transfer. As soon as we touch the earth, as soon as you touch a tree, instantly you are getting energy. You're charging your battery. That is good. Wi-Fi, instantly causing chaos in your cells, causing destruction, free radical damage, okay? That is not how we were designed. It's the same thing. Sunlight, good energy, good light, good frequency, telling our brain what to promote, what to do, what to change, what to do. Then we have, it's charging us up. And then we have the other light stealing our energy. It's almost like, it just made me think of, how the enemy can come in clothed in light. The devil can be a white light angel in disguise, and it's really not. It's like, it looks like the sun. Looks good. Makes sense. No, it's bad. All right. Your next action step is something to add into your life is to start looking at sunrise light before you look at other light. So when you wake up in the morning, challenge yourself to see when the sunrise is and go outside and look at the sky. I'm not saying you have to see the sun. Some people message me because, I have all this on my highlight bubbles in less depth than this, but people message me and they'll say, I can't see the sun where I live. Like, I don't know where the horizon, where do I have to drive? I'm like, no, that's not the point. The point is to look at the sky. You're going to get the light codes you need from that in just like 2-3 minutes. Like, go outside. Now, the more benefit you want to get, the longer you'll stay out. So what I used to do is I would make my coffee, grab a book. I'd go sit out there for like an hour. It is incredible. The more light you get in your eyes, the more light you get on your skin, the better. And it is preconditioning you to, get more sunlight later in the day. Here's another a quote. Women who have only very little exposure to sunlight often suffer from menstrual problems or have no menstrual periods at all. They can reestablish a healthy menstrual cycle by sunbathing regularly and spending several hours in the day. Of the normalization of the menstrual cycle can occur within a few weeks after starting sunlight therapy. This is from the book Heal Yourself with Sunlight by Andreas Moritz. Okay, so that's where all the other quotes were from as well. I'm almost positive. Definitely try to read that book. Now, we talked about how sunlight has red light in it naturally. In the early morning hours and sunset hours, we have red light. And so I want to talk about some benefits of red light therapy. This is why red light therapy is so popular. This is why I talk about red light therapy, why I share the red light wristband that I love, the red light mask that I love. It's why people talk about red light panels. Here's 5 benefits of red light therapy. Reduces inflammation, cognitive support. What are we seeing right now? Massive cognitive decline. I'm sorry, but people are the stupidest ever right now. Like, I can't even believe how stupid people are. It has gotten worse. It has gotten so much worse. So much worse. Just in a few years, it has declined. And not just that, it's also, we're seeing in the elderly, like it's earlier that people are getting depression, Alzheimer's, traumatic brain, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, those end of life type things that you usually associate with, those are more than ever. But red light helps with cognitive support. depression, Alzheimer's, traumatic brain injuries. If we are so disconnected from the sun and we're not getting sunlight, we're scared of the sun, we cover up our head from the sun all the time. So a great thing you can do if you're trying to help your brain, put your red light mask from your red light therapy AO mask on the top of your head, on your forehead, because it has the 1064 near infrared wavelength of light. That's going to be different than, I don't know of other products that have that wavelength. That's going to be able to actually penetrate through your skull to get to your brain and support it. A lot of them don't have that. So that's why I love my AO mask so much. But when you go in the sun, if you can get one of those visors that leaves the top of your head open, so the sunlight can hit your scalp, do that. If you need to protect your face, you're like, I can't handle it, the sun is too bright, get one that can at least get some of your head too, or at least take your hat off for a little bit. Get some sun on your head. I think this helps with hair growth. I think people who are losing their hair need more sun on their head. You need sun on your scalp. Okay. Reduction in cellulite, pain relief, sunburn prevention. Get your red lights out. If you are trying to not burn in the sun, use your red light therapy. Use it. I challenge you to use your red light therapy more. Most people, nearly everyone, is red light deficient. And why did we get to that point? Because we're just bathing in blue light all day behind closed windows. Did you know modern day closed windows are filtering out the full spectrum of light from the sun and just giving you blue light, just like your light bulbs and your LEDs and your fluorescents? That's another reason why it's so dangerous to be indoors constantly all day, all year, and then just try to go sunbathe. It's like your body doesn't know what's going on. You're confusing it. You're confusing it so badly with all these false frequencies. We talked about how you can go outside in the early morning hours for sunrise light, look at the sky for a few minutes. The longer the better, but even 30 seconds is going to set your day up for better. Let's say you have to be inside in an office, your home, whatever. Your next best option for getting sunlight throughout the day, since a lot of us can't just be outside all day long. Here's your trick. Here's your hack. Start cracking windows open and looking outside at the sky like every hour. Like set a timer. Every hour or two, go outside, just look at the sky. I don't care if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's hot and blistering, go outside. If it's too torrential of weather, then don't go outside. Just look outside or crack the door, crack the window. Use common sense. Like, don't put yourself in danger. But we can utilize sunlight in simple ways like this and change the trajectory of our hormones in our life and the way we feel and the way we're functioning just with small amounts of time. So I'm not telling you to go live your life outside, off-grid, in the sun all day, unless that's what you want to do. But you can simply open your windows, crack your windows. When you're driving, crack your windows, open your sunroof. Try to get as much exposure of natural light from the sun into your eyes as you possibly can. Even on cloudy days, even on overcast days, you want to get more sun. Here's a fun fact. There's no actual human studies done on just pure sunlight. None. If you find one, tell me. Send it to me. They are all done with artificial light, indoors, on rodents. I'm not ruling out studies on rodents. I mean, I think those can be very helpful for us to look at things and see how things are impacting biology, but if they're so certain that this is causing these issues, we need actual human studies on just sunlight. We cannot be using false, fake UV lamps indoors when there's still fluorescent lighting and other LEDs and stuff. Like, do you see what I'm saying? We call this, in the Quantum Biology Collective, we learned about the SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, as the eye clock. Your eyes take in light, and it tells your brain what time it is, tells your brain what hormones and how much of to produce. what I should be doing as a good example right now is wearing blue light blockers. When you're inside during the day, yellow tinted blue light blockers help protect your eye clock so that your brain is not getting a circadian mismatch from the light. I'm going to try to figure that out. Maybe I just need a new headset or something so it doesn't squash my head. But this brings me to sunglasses. And I got to wrap this up soon. We're already to an hour. Sunglasses are hormone disruptors. So just like we don't want to have circadian mismatches from the false lighting, the closed windows, sunscreen, all of these things that are distancing us from our own intuition and our body from talking to us, sunglasses also block our eye clock. It's going to tell our eye clock it's nighttime. It's evening. When you wear sunglasses in the middle of the day, when the sun is hot and bright in the middle of the sky, and your eyes are saying, well, I don't need any protection from the sun. It's a different time of day. I don't need these hormones. Things are going to react differently in your body. You're going to have miscommunications and disconnections. And it is another perfect contributor to problems from UV light. Okay, I'm going to read you a post that I did before about sunrise, why you should be watching the sunrise every day. The light spectrum at sunrise starts your circadian clock, meaning watching the sunrise lets your body know it's time to start functioning optimally for the day. Seeing the morning sun is the catalyst for proper hormone levels throughout the day, even on cloudy days. All you need is a minimum of 60 seconds. 60 seconds with naked eyes, gazing at the sky. More time equals more benefits. You should never stare directly at the sun. I'm not over here promoting that you stare at the sun. I think your body was made to not stare at the sun. You're going to blink. It's going to be hard to your body doesn't want to blind itself like that. I'm not telling you to stare at the sun. I'm telling you to look at the sky and wean yourself off of sunglasses. This is one of the most powerful sunscreens that you can get. Sunscreen. I'm not against sunscreen. I'm against chemicals. I'm against toxins. I'm against free radical damage. I'm against circadian mismatches. When you precondition your skin by getting more sunrise light and morning light on your skin and in your eyes, that is free sunscreen and is telling your body how much sun exposure to prepare for the rest of the day. So benefits include regulated circadian rhythm, increased energy, improved mitochondrial health, reduced inflammation, hormone regulation, and so much more. It's also going to help you with your sleep. Have you ever noticed when you watch the sunset, you get a great night's sleep? You feel so much better. Watch the sunrise, watch the sunset, get outside more. That is the main point of this podcast. I want to remove the fear. I want to give you action steps. I think we gave you quite a few action steps today. I could keep talking about this for so much longer, but I think we're going to have to just make another episode on the sun. I haven't even made it through one of my 2 sunlight highlight bubbles to help me have just a little, outline of what I'm talking about. Let me just share this one PubMed study from 2020. Insufficient sun exposure has become a real public health problem. Insufficient sun exposure may be responsible for 340,000 deaths in the United States and 480,000 deaths in Europe per year. Increased incidence of breast C, colorectal C, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, multiple sclerosis, and Alzheimer's disease, and that's where it cuts off. I'm not going to keep reading it. You can look up this study if you would like. Guys, it's just, this is one of the things that has helped me so much. And I really feel like the paradigm has to shift. You have to not still be in the old paradigm. You have to have an open mind for this stuff to actually sink in. I know a lot of people who are still struggling with this concept of energy and frequency and quantum. This could be really hard to hear, especially if you've been through it yourself. I know a lot of messages that come in are people who have been diagnosed with certain things that this totally feels like it contradicts. Everything that they've been told by the professionals, this contradicts. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I am not here to be your doctor. I am not your doctor. I am not that voice for you. What I am doing is just sharing what I have learned, what I have experienced, what the studies show, so that you can go make an informed decision and research this further for yourself. Go research this. Go look up on PubMed. I am not stopping you. Go read books. There are so many books on sunlight where other people have broken down the science for you. Check out the Quantum Biology Collective. I'm on one of their podcasts over there. Listen to their podcast. Get certified with them. Like, do the research yourself before you make a decision, and make sure you take into account all these things I'm talking about to support your body and not go into free radical damage from getting sun exposure. You know, the way we as humans make sun exposure bad is all the things that we as humans made, and when we are disconnected from our own intuition. So I just want to touch on a few things that I do to incorporate this into my lifestyle of getting the sun outside. Like here on my stories, I had my treadmill set up in the garage with the door open, so that while I was walking, even though I wasn't walking outside like I would have loved to be, it was raining, I still had the door open so that I could get the light, okay? So you might have to adjust. Things might not be as comfortable as you would like them. You might not have like a heated room. It might be colder than normal, so you have to bundle up a little bit more. Or maybe it's just feels inconvenient. It's going to help you in the long run. It's going to really support your body the more you do this. This compounds over time. These are lifestyle changes to make. Slowly eliminating the seed oils, slowly detoxing the seed oils, slowly changing the way you look at life and the things it's going to change the things that you want to do. Like, instead of craving to go watch a movie in a movie theater, you're probably going to start craving like, oh, I just want a night with a bonfire outside, watching the sunset with the fire, and eating a home-cooked meal with my feet in the dirt. Like, things are going to shift. Your body's going to start craving the things that are good for you. It's how we were hardwired. We weren't made to be so disconnected. The world wants you to be disconnected, though. It's harder to hear God. It's harder to hear God when you're so disconnected. Can I get an amen? On Sunday at church, the pastor was talking about, he literally said, if your kids know more about pop culture than they do about the Bible, there's something wrong. Same with this. If we are more excited to do the things of this world that are fake, virtual reality, watching movies, like entertainment, that's a distraction. Those are all perfect distractions from getting healthy. They're distractions from stepping into your purpose. They're distractions from facing your own emotions. They're distractions from everything. Oh my gosh. If you want to just be like the most lukewarm person you could ever be, keep doing what the world does. Keep watching movies every night. Keep scrolling your phone for hours without doing anything productive. Don't start a business. Don't do any self-development. Don't go outside. Don't get sunlight, and you will stay nice and lukewarm. That's fine. That's fine. I am happy that people do whatever they want. I don't need you to change. It doesn't, I just think that more people would really have more passion and excitement and health and abundance if they started doing these things. That's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I wanted to start a podcast, because I just want to talk freely about this stuff. Like, these thoughts go through my mind every day. When I'm talking to my husband, I'm like, tell him all this stuff. And I've been talking about a podcast, and he was so sweet last night. He said, I think the podcast is the best thing you've ever done so far. Oh, I cried. So sweet. So sweet. Okay. This stuff is so important. And if you're listening to this podcast, I want you to challenge what you're currently doing so you can get better. I do want you to change. because I know it's the best thing for you. I don't think God made any of us to just live a mediocre life, sitting on the sidelines, sad and sick. But the world has made it easy to do that. The world has made it to stay complacent. Stay complacent, stay quiet, don't rock the boat, don't share your opinion, don't question the medical system, don't question what we're doing to cut you open and give you all these pharmakeia things. Like, if you don't question it, if you don't change, if you don't rock the boat, your life is actually not going to be that much easier. It's just going to be a different kind of hard. It's going to be a different kind of hard to choose the complacent, lazy way now that feels easy in the moment. It feels easy in the moment to just binge TV shows, eat PUFAs, go through the drive-thru all the time, suck down a soda, and just be what the world is. Okay? The Bible says don't be like the world. Like, what does that mean? Why are Christians eating donuts every Sunday? Why do we have donuts, a temptation out there to keep pursuing this lifestyle of gluttonous, nasty, like PUFAs and opposite? Like, why? Maybe there's churches out there who are doing healthy things. Maybe there are churches out there who are like, let's go camping this weekend. Let's do a women's event out in nature. And like, let's learn about the sun and how God made this world. That would be really cool. Maybe we should make something like that. The point is, you're choosing your hard. You're choosing your hard. Right now, if you don't want to do the things to help your body and you don't want to question the narrative and you don't want to like allow it in your mind that maybe you were lied to your whole life, that feels hard in the moment because it's going to set you up for a much smoother, better, prosperous end of life. Like, the rest of your life can get better. The trajectory changes versus staying small and mediocre and worldly. That's just going to be downhill. So you can choose between the downhill trajectory of blasé sadness or health and life and abundantly. Like, that's what God wants for us. God wants us to be so in love with him that we are having these revelations and that we are changing, we are growing, and we are just, it's so good. It's so good. Okay. None of this was planned. I hope this was still a good episode for you. Today, I just thought, I was praying. I was like, God, what do you want me to talk about today? And sunlight kept coming up. It's one that I've had on my notes that I want to do. I think I'm going to have to do more on sunlight. But one more little breakdown. Let's just recap. What actually causes sunburns? Sunburns are what causes damage in the skin, okay? Do you know that? Sunburn. We want to avoid sunburn. I'm not telling you to go out and get sunburned. I don't want you sunburned. Sunburn is what's causing the main problems with the skin. What is causing the sunburns? Consumption of polyunsaturated fats, overload of toxins, overload of free radicals, skipping, preconditioning the skin, and overexposure to the sun. Those are the main things. What has helped me heal my hormones? I had a baby. I had the best pregnancy ever. I don't have painful periods anymore. I don't have endometriosis. I don't have PCOS. I don't have the things. No, I was not officially diagnosed with endometriosis or PCOS, but I know what I felt and I know stuff was wrong. So whatever it was did not feel good. I had the most miserable period every month. My lower back hurt. My legs hurt. I couldn't function. This stuff has changed the game. It's been a combination. Look at all the things I talk about. I talk about energy work. I talk about emotion code. I talk about frequency. I talk about all these things. It's all connected. Quantum biology, quantum things. That's why I named this podcast The Quantum Mama. I don't want to funnel us into just one little box of a niche. I want us to talk about all of it. Quantum. We are quantum. When we're talking about the Bible, we're talking about quantum. When we're talking about praying, we're talking about quantum. When we're talking about all this stuff, sunlight, energy, grounding. It's all so good. It's all so good. What has helped me heal my hormones? High quality blue light blocking glasses. Okay, I forgot to talk about that. We will mention that really quick right here at the end. Daily grounding. When you go out to see the sun, pair that with grounding. Now, if you're really freaked out about going barefoot, that's okay. You can buy grounding shoes, or you can get a high quality, like natural fiber sock. Dedicate those socks to going outside. There's so many more options of grounding shoes now. I have mine linked in my link tree that I really like. I have their sandals and their tennis shoes. That's what I wear on my walks. That's what I wear when I go out for the most part. I buy 100% organic cotton socks. You know, like, think of what I said at the beginning of this podcast. Your body's like a battery. You plug into the earth and the sun. You charge yourself up. Learning how to utilize the sun to optimize hormones. And the way to learn that, you don't even have anything to learn. You listen to it. You heard me. Go out at every spectrum of light. Like, go out all the time. Like, take your breaks to see the sky outside. Get yourself synced up with the sun. There's 4 times you want to go out for most of the year. Some of the year you don't have UVB. So you want to get out at sunrise, mid-morning, afternoon when there's UVB, which is when you can tan, and when there is, it's going to help you get darker melanin. You want that. People are nuts for wanting to stay light. If you're trying to hide to not get a tan, you're nuts. Like, don't do that. Sunrise, mid-morning, afternoon when there's nice UVB, and then sunset. Get outside at least 4 times a day. Put it on your calendar. It only has to be a few minutes. It does not have to be a huge ordeal. And if you're really light, like my little translucent baby with blue eyes, prioritize the times when it's not UVB. But still get some UVB, but prioritize the other times, and that will precondition the skin and help them be resilient. Let's see. And use covering your skin and hats and clothes and stuff. So let's just chat about blue light blocking glasses really fast. My favorite brand is Viva Rays. I have a discount code for you. I have their link, all the stuff. That is who I wear. I'm going to figure this out so I can be wearing them in here. I just got so frustrated having the little, wearing glasses with a headset. I don't know if you've ever tried that. It just pushes it into my head. The reason why these are the best, in my opinion, is because, one, their yellow blue light blockers are not so dark that it's messing with you when you're trying to function during the day. I don't want to have a darkening effect with my blue light blockers. But you also have to have yellow in your daytime blue light blockers. The clear ones do not do anything. Those are crap. Those are garbage. They don't do anything. They're just, maybe they do a tiny smidgen, but they're not doing what we want. What we want is to help the eye clock see that we're not overloading with all this blue light. We want to minimize the blue light. And to do that effectively in the way that we want, we have to have yellow lenses. Which, it's really weird. All these celebrities are wearing orange and red glasses. It's do they know? Do they know that really they should be wearing yellow ones during the... I don't know. I don't know that they've really been taught. Maybe it's just a trend. I don't follow trends. I don't really know what's going on, but I have been seeing that more often, and it's whatever. At least it looks cool now. So you wear your yellow ones, and Viva Rays are really nice because you can buy the 3-in-1 set where you get yellow, orange, and red, and they're magnetic, so they just clip on. So you wear your yellows during the day, so I would be doing that right now. Anytime you're behind closed windows or using a screen. If I had my window open right now, I can't because I'm recording and I want the audio to be good, but I could open my window and have that light coming in and face my computer screen so my eyes are getting that light. That would be ideal. Then I wouldn't really have to wear my blue light blockers because you're still getting the good light codes coming in. It's okay through the screen. That's fine. You just need the glass out of the way. Yellows for during the day when you're driving, unless you're going to open your windows or your sunroof. Then you wear your orange ones when you first wake up in the morning. If you wake up before sunrise, put them on when you're going to go walk to the door to go look outside so that the first light getting in your eyes is that deep orange. So mimicking firelight, lamplight, what you would have in nature, if you were really our ancestors, and then take them off when you get outside and look at the sky. Okay, so orange is for before sunrise, yellow is from after sunrise to sunset. Sunset time, you want to wear your orange ones again. And then 1 to 2 hours before bed, you want to wear your red lenses. And this is really to get your body to wind down. So if you have sleep issues, if you're not sleeping through the night, if you are waking up, if you are struggling, if you just don't feel like you're getting restful sleep, it could be the blue light. The blue light is so just like, my husband said the other day, he was like, we got to get Olivia Kate some baby blue light blockers. I don't know how we'd keep them on her head. I've changed out a lot of the bulbs in our house, and we really do keep things quite dim. Which, okay, we'll do a whole nother episode on that type of stuff, but it affects your sleep, it affects your attitude, it affects your emotions, it affects everything. It affects your biology. So blue light blocking is one of the best things to also incorporate into your lifestyle. And you can do this easily with Viva Rays, with their 3-in-1. And if you can't do the 3-in-1, then at least start with yellow. Just start with the yellow pair, and you can add on the others later. And the reason why glasses are so important, more so than being like a bubble boy and like covering your thyroid and covering all your skin from the light, is because the majority of it is getting absorbed through your eyes. The SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, that is the main thing. Now, if you have LASIK, if you have surgeries done in your eyes, you will need to get more sunlight, more red light, and you're going to have to use your skin a lot more than someone who does not have that. If you wear reading glasses, you are going to have to, or contacts, you're going to have to try to prioritize somehow. It depends on how strong of a prescription you need, but prioritizing trying to get outside and taking them off or not having your contacts in yet to get that light. If you have to wear contacts throughout the day, you are going to have to try to get your skin in the game more. Okay? That is, I think, all we really have time for today. This was a longer episode. I hope that was helpful. Viva Rays does offer options to add prescriptions to your glasses as well. A lot of my clients have done that over the years. But I hope this was helpful. I don't want you to be in fear of the sun. I want you to really just question what we've been taught. Look at the facts, look stuff up, think about it. We need this. We need nature. God gave us nature for a reason. I'm looking at this little meme on my highlight bubble. It says, there's a line of people going to the door and says pills and surgery. And then on the other side is lifestyle change. And we have to change our lifestyle. It feels like work, but it's going to be worth it. It is going to be worth it. Children need to be outside in the sun, as natural light is crucial for healthy eye development. That's from 1,000 Hours Outside. This is free. This is easy. Get outside. Can morning red light really improve your vision? Another one of my posts. What if everything I told you about the sun is a lie? Okay. All right. We're going to end it there. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear what you think. If you start practicing any of these things, I want to hear your testimonies. I want to hear what you're seeing. It can be as short as like 3 days where you can reset your circadian rhythm following this type of stuff, and you can see significant improvement. It is so fun. All right. I'll, of course, include all of the resources that I shared about and talked about in the description. I would love it if you could write me a review. I'm so excited to be starting this journey with podcasting. It has been so fun. I also just started a Substack. We'll see where that goes. It's brand new to me, but I'm kind of shifting gears where I want to get into more of this long form content. I've always loved writing. I've always loved sharing my heart like this, and it's just so fun to put it into this new way. Of course, we have the free Inner Circle community, the Quantum Mama Inner Circle on Facebook. You are welcome to join and meet with more like-minded people that are also listeners of this podcast. You can get my free energy and frequency guide down below as well, valued at $97. It just breaks down all of these concepts so that you can have it all demystified and answers at the tip of your fingers. You can read this guide. So many people have given me such great feedback on it. I also have a free quantum reading list for you. So check out all the resources below. The links and the discount codes will be there too. And we will see you on the next episode.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Quantum Mama podcast. If today's conversation expanded your mind, nourished your soul, or lit a fire in your spirit, share it with a friend. Tag Katelyn on Instagram at Katelyn Simmons Official and at the Quantum Mama, and leave a quick review. Don't forget to check the show notes for this episode's featured products, her favorite frequency healing tools, and a free gift. Created to help you go deeper. You were made to thrive, Mama, in wholeness, wealth, and wild alignment. Until next time, keep rising, keep resonating, and keep living the Quantum Mama way.